As you know, I love Poland. I love visiting and I love learning about it. But I want to know what other foreigners think about Poland when they actually arrive. And maybe some of those stereotypes aren't real. Maybe some are. So let's find out.
Poland's like another planet for me because everything is different. Every day I'm out of my comfort zone here.
I think my first culture shock coming from Nigeria was the constant electricity.
So moving here, I was like shocked about how good it was.
People think Polish girls are like gold diggers or they're a poor country.
Poland is so racist, it's really bad, like you can't be yourself.
Miałem aplikację żabki zanim tu przyjechałem.
W Polsce stosunek do Rosjan jest bardzo negatywny.
Right, let's find out.
Hey aliens. In today's video, we asked foreigners what surprised you about Poland.
Let's get started. Could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Wes from the channel Where's Wes on YouTube. I'm from America, but I'm Chinese and I'm 29 years old.
Hello,
so where's Wes right now?
Here in Krakow, Poland.
My name is Eliseo. I'm from Brazil and I'm 28 years old. I've been living here in Poland for 3.5 years.
My name's Kristen. I'm from the United States, but I've lived in Poland for the past 5 years.
With these Americans, or people from the States, I would like to know if... So obviously a lot of people have that impression of the Yanks as a little bit ignorant. When they think of Europe, they think of the UK, Italy maybe, and France/Paris. They don't necessarily know about much else in Europe. So it'll be interesting to see if that stereotype is true here and if some of their thoughts are a little bit ignorant or not. Let's find out.
And I love it here.
So I'm Maria, I'm from the Netherlands.
Dutch.
I live about almost 4 years in Poland.
Hi, my name is Ola Shubumi, originally from Nigeria. I live in Poland now for 3 years.
Mam na imię Ilshad, przyjechałam z Azerbejdżanu 2 lata temu i mój polski jest wspaniały.
Cześć, mam na imię Sasza.
Jestem Lena.
Mieszkamy w Polsce już 4 lata. Jesteśmy z Nowosibirsku, to miasta za Uralem, można tak powiedzieć, w Rosji. Bardzo zimno.
And why did you choose to move to Poland?
There's a lot of reasons. It's quite easy for Americans to come here, visa-wise. I like the cost of living a lot. I had a lot of Asian friends here and they told me that Asians were really respected here because of our work ethic and not causing problems. And finding a partner is quite high on my bucket list as well. I heard a lot of really good things about Polish girls, and I think you guys can probably agree as well. So the more time that I spend here, the more I like it.
It's a very common case. I moved here because I had a Polish girlfriend. We were living in Vienna. She didn't want to stay there. So I found a job here. I didn't know there was so many job opportunities here, so I just moved.
First,
See, that's the interesting thing. Now, obviously, I've met Kane and Patricia, my friends in Krakow. And obviously, that Kane's English. He moved over to be with his Polish girlfriend. But I still don't think it is the common thing. I still think it is more common for a Polish girl or boy to move over to maybe places like the United Kingdom or the States rather than actually stay in Poland. Now, said maybe that's changing, but I still probably think those people that move back to Poland are maybe the minority.
in 2016, I came in through ISEC. I did like this volunteer program for like a year. I went back to Nigeria and I came back just in the beginning of the pandemic. I think the places, the food, and the women, but my wife, more specifically.
Very specific, the wife.
I moved here originally for work and then I stayed for love, as one does. But it's super fun for me. I love Warsaw. It's really safe. It's a really good place to hang out with your friends. A lot of like international community here. Big fan.
Why Poland? So for love. My boyfriend, I should say fiance, is Polish. So
there you go. Well, there's a few examples right there that they've moved to Poland. They've normally gone there because of maybe education or work. They fall in love and decide to stay. And you know, I would assume that it's a debate they then have. Do they move back to their home country or do they stay in Poland, for example, where their new boyfriend and girlfriend lives? And it can't just be them that is making the decision. So it must be Poland itself that is part of the decision and winning.
yeah, so he lives here, and at some point I came this way.
A dlaczego Polska? Jak się tutaj znalazłeś?
Chodziłem do rosyjskiej szkoły, więc mam sobie bardzo dużo tej słowiańskiej mentalności. Oczywiście szukałem kraj ze słowiańską mentalnością, a najlepszy słowiański kraj to Polska.
Po pierwsze, ja mam karty Polaka. Moi przodkowie byli z Polski. Pierwszy raz byliśmy w Polsce.
10 lat temu,
Tak,
8,
w 2014 roku to była taka mała podróż po zachodniej części Polski. Wrocław, Łódzko, drugie małe miasto. Ja po prostu zdecydowałem uczyć języka polskiego, dać egzamin dla karty Polaka i po prostu przeprowadziliśmy do Polski.
Let's talk about some culture shocks. What are some of the things that surprised you about Poland?
Everybody being very quiet and standoffish. If you come from America, people are super friendly, super in your face. A lot of small talk. People don't really do that here. I also like how the men here are men. So let's say you need something to be fixed. It's nice not having to argue, yeah, a woman can do it too. It's just like, no, I just want a guy to show up, come in. I just show him the problem. He's just like, let me move, let me do it. Being a man, a useful man, and being able to fix things around the house and solve problems is still valued here. I like how they're not arguing about a man's a man, a woman's a woman, that kind of stuff. Growing up in Los Angeles, I was so used to it, but here they don't have any of that BS.
You have to.
I think the world is changing, okay? And I do think it's cool, there are those kind of, I don't like the saying traditional values because what is traditional values? I don't necessarily agree with that phrase, but let's just sort of half use it now. Yes, you get that in Poland, that men being men, women being women, and maybe there are those more traditional roles, and they just get on and do it. And then that's generalizing because not everyone can do it. And I would like to think I try, but I can't do everything, DIY and all those sort of things, but I do try. And probably Charlie doesn't do as much of the DIY stuff. And we stick to those stereotypes a little bit, but equally, is it a problem? That's the thing. Is it a problem if women want to do these things? Is it a problem if men want to do more those more feminine things? I don't know. I don't think it is, but I do appreciate what he's saying, that's the culture shock at the end of the day, that, in the States, there's that debate, oh, well, maybe women should get on and do it, blah, blah, blah. And actually here, things just get done. So that is the positive side of it.
To actually be a gentleman here, I would say so.
Yeah, but I think that's good because one of the reasons why a lot of people travel, especially men, they travel for the women. There's certain countries like Thailand, Colombia, and the Philippines is kind of a hot spot for a lot of men because people can go there with their passport, a little bit of money, and say that they're attracting women. But here in Poland, they don't care about your money. Polish passport is stronger than the American passport. So in order to get a Polish girlfriend, you actually have to be a good guy, treat her well, treat her with respect. So I think it filters out a lot of the bad guys coming here with like bad intentions, right? I really admire their family values. Many people here grew up with a nuclear family, and that is so important in the US and especially in Colombia. In Colombia, the single motherhood rate is like 85%. So the people are a lot more relationship minded because they had really good examples of what that looks like.
But was that a
think that's a
surprise
fair
for you?
point.
So you thought Poland didn't have that, and then you came here and they had that?
Well, I think like in the US, people group Poland with Ukraine and Russia together as like Slavic countries, but Poland and Ukraine are not the same at all. They're like night and day difference. But you wouldn't know that if you're not educated about the area. So I think that people think Polish girls are like gold diggers or they're a poor country. That's probably the biggest one, that Poland is a poor country, and then you come here and you're like, they're not really a poor country. It's quite well developed. The people here are very educated. People live good lives. A lot of people have homes. A lot of the negative stereotypes I had about Poland were eliminated when I actually arrived here.
I experienced that after me traveling so many times now. How many times I've been? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe about 11 or 12 times I think I've now been to Poland. And actually, people, family and friends back home quite often question why I come to Poland because they've still got that opinion and thought that Poland is still a little bit backwards. It's still like it was maybe in the 90s. Well, it's 35 years on from then, so things change and the government system has changed and things have developed, and actually, yeah, you'll still see parts of Poland that are run down, and we've seen that in Częstochowa, for example. I did the vlog, go to Charlie and Robin, you'll see it, where you've got really lovely where the church is, where the money's going, and then the back streets. Oh, here's Pierogi talking about Poles. He's not Polish. He's just named after pierogi, like purr, like cats do. Anyway, sidetracked. And then you see those, but you do get them in plenty of other places. But the developed parts are really developed, and you wouldn't notice any different apart from the awesome buildings. It's just not true anymore.
Poland's like another planet for me because everything is different. Every day I'm out of my comfort zone here.
Is there anything that surprised you a lot about when you moved to Poland?
I think about how people communicate, I think is the first thing that shocks you as a Latin American, as a Brazilian. We are not that direct. We don't say no. And Polish people, they are very direct. When I was in Białystok, I went to a restaurant and then I was trying to explain to the waitress that I'm vegan. And I asked, do you have anything for vegans here? And she said, no, we have only for normal people. Another situation that shocked me here when I moved to Poland, you guys may have seen that you are trying to rent a flat and you see that they write in the comments, foreigners don't even call me. And the funny thing that in some situations I called them in Polish. And when they saw that I could speak Polish, it seemed like they forgot that I was a foreigner.
See, that is a really, really big point, but I don't think it's specific to Poland. Let's be honest, like if you look at English people, we're known for not learning other languages. And don't get me wrong, I am nowhere near good enough to have a proper conversation in Polish. But straight away, if I speak to people in Polish, they appreciate it. They appreciate it and they become more open, they become more friendly. But that's just simply the effort that you put in being in another country. And I that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's specific to Poland, because if you do that in Spain, Italy, France, I don't know, wherever else you want to go, people appreciate it and then open up more. So I don't think this is Poland specific.
And then I noticed that it's not about being foreigners, just that the way they put sound a little bit racist, but it's actually about they are a little bit careful with someone that might not stay here. So if they see that you speak Polish, you've been here for a while, they treat you a little bit different. In the beginning, it can also be shocking and look a little bit racist, but then you understand that it's not exactly like that.
It's a good lesson, I suppose, that these things aren't maybe as rude or as offensive as they might seem at first, just simple misunderstandings maybe.
100%, yeah. So we also need to understand that their culture is also very different. They are not very used to foreigners. If you try to put yourself in their shoes, you might understand that it's not racism, it's not prejudice, it's just cultural difference.
Yeah.
It was my first time in Europe. I think my first culture shock coming from Nigeria was the constant electricity.
Wow.
Constant supply of
I think
hot
that's
water,
the extreme
running
example.
Water. Not running water, but like running hot water, because there was always running water. The biggest surprise for me was the amount of Caucasians I've seen. It was the biggest amount of Caucasians I saw at once, right? Seeing like so many white people was quite, I don't know if that's racist or... I mean, it was... what else? I think the Russell. I don't know what to call this love or this kind of relationship I have with Russell. Like, I only go to Russell when I'm after the club, right? So after the club, you know, Russell is like my go-to guy. I used to miss pounded yam.
What is that?
Pounded yam is like the potato that went to Harvard, you know?
Where do Polish potatoes go?
I don't know, maybe Victoria University.
So moving here, I was like shocked about how good it was and how like safe I felt on the buses and like going home at night. It's not like an issue at all.
That is a huge point. There's so many places that you may feel unsafe. I have never once felt unsafe in Poland, even when maybe there looks like there's some dodgy people and whatnot. When I was in Wrocław in 23. Yeah, summer of 23, and I was going back to the apartment at like gone midnight on my own, and it was dark. This cat, just a heads up, he is a pain in the ass. Never felt unsafe at all. And I think that's important. And if Charlie was going on her own, she went to Sofia in Bulgaria, felt unsafe, and she was almost mugged. But in Poland, that's not an issue. It's not an issue at all. And that's really... He's just biting me.
You're not going to get shot, so big fan of that. The quality of life, you have so many more opportunities. You have like health insurance. There's no guns here. Like if you have a knife, what are you going to do?
No
Stab me?
guns.
Okay,
Pat me,
whatever. You're
please.
not going to go bankrupt if you do get sick. The fact that you guys have like a really nice work-life balance, paid sick days, you have like a good amount of holidays. Like you can really live a good quality of life here. I was also surprised about like the quality of educated people and just the amount of like English that people speak, especially in Warsaw. Like it's never been an issue for me. My father, when I got married last summer, it was his very first time in Europe and his very first time in Poland. He comes here and he is from the middle of America. He has never really left the country. He had to get a passport for the first time, you know, he's one of those. And he comes here and he's like, Kristen, this is amazing. Like, I just walked to 3 different casinos right next to my hotel. And I was like, yeah, they love them here. I was like, me too, you know, I love a good gamble. He also surprised about the amount of restaurants and the amount of options that you can have. I think Warsaw is like ranked the 2nd biggest vegan capital in Europe or maybe even the world. And he was also shocked about the metro. He's like, this is amazing. I was like, I know.
Public
it's like you're in a little
transport is
movie every
great.
time you're in the metro and you see it
And
going
cheap.
across. And you feel like you're in Gossip Girl
Mostly.
or something. So he had his little Gossip Girl moment when he came here, but he was obsessed. He was like, I get why you want to live here. Like, I get it.
Before I ever went to Poland, they always told me like, oh, Poland is so racist, it's really bad, like you can't be yourself. There's a lot of Polish people in the Netherlands, there were a lot of Polish people in the UK. So I kind of had a feeling, okay, in Poland, the situation is not that great, people are struggling. And a lot of people were also telling me this. They had some difficulties sometimes with Polish people. So they were, you know, a bit surprised that I was going there. But the first time when I came to Poland, I was like, wow, it's actually so beautiful here. I really love the country, like the nature here. So you have sea in the north, in the south you have mountains. Netherlands doesn't have mountains, so I'm really happy about that. You have everything. You have Mazura with the lakes. I think it's just amazing. People are really nice. I did see that they were looking at me, but I didn't notice this racism that
It's
I was
probably not
afraid of.
racism,
In
it's
Poland,
just
a lot of
intrigue.
people think that I'm from Africa, so they also want to check that. And I had this one time, this guy came to me and he's like, can we take a picture? Okay, sure.
Bit much.
It happened more often, so I was okay with the picture. And then he was like, where are you from? So I'm from the Netherlands. And he's like, looking at, no, but where are you really from? And I'm like, still from the Netherlands, so I don't know what you mean. Oh, then your granddad. I don't know, actually. I'm adopted and I'm from Colombia, but I was like, my granddad could maybe be from somewhere else. I don't know. So he was like, is your granddad like African? And I'm like, oh, maybe he could be. Like at some point they went to Colombia anyway, so maybe he was. And the guy was not happy with that answer, and he still looked at me like, why you don't say that you're from Africa? Also one guy saying like, oh, I had a girlfriend from Africa before. And I'm like, that's awesome. But I don't find that racism more interests or it's different, so they look. So that's, surprised me that it was just different from what I was told before. And
That's a brilliant point, isn't it? It's not racism, it's simply intrigue. And if you don't see something very often or you haven't seen it really before in person, you're going to look, you know. It's simple. It's the same as if a white person goes to somewhere in Africa where they never see white people. Black people are going to look. It's not racism, it's just intrigue.
you only hear negative stories, then there's always two sides to a country.
Yeah, just don't watch the news.
No, exactly.
Co zaskoczyło Cię najbardziej po przyjeździe do Polski?
Szczerze, w ogóle nic. Dobrze się przygotowałem do przyjazdu.
Okay, well,
Obejrzałem tam
no
sobie
point talking
tysiące
to you.
filmików po polsku, więc widziałem z góry, na co mam oczekiwać. W sumie nic. W sensie, jakby dostałem to, czego oczekiwałem. Nie wiem, naprawdę nie wiem. Po prostu wyobraź, że Polak wrócił do domu. Z tego powodu mnie trochę z tymi emocjami trudno, bo ja już z góry wiedziałem, co będzie, jak będę rozmawiać z ludźmi, na co mam oczekiwać, jak kasować bilety w biletomacie. Ja miałem aplikację Żabkę, pobrane miałem aplikację Żabki, zanim tu przyjechałem.
Wow.
Na
Czyli
wszelki
bardzo
wypadek.
dobrze się
Oh, I love a
przygotowałeś.
żabka.
Bardzo dobrze. Ja mam czasami komentarze, że do mnie ludzie piszą, że jesteś bardziej polski niż Polacy. Jeden raz spotkałem się z kibicami Legii Warszawy. Oni chcieli się przyczepić do mnie. Ja zapytałem, czy w ogóle czytaliście pana Tadeusza? Okazało się, że oni nie, a ja czytałem, więc my się zaprzyjaźniliśmy i teraz chciałbym powiedzieć, że razem bijemy obcokrajowców, ale nie, no po prostu.
Czyli zyskałeś szacunek kibiców Legii.
Tak.
Znajomością pana Tadeusza.
Czytałem, już jestem za leniwy i stary, ale czytałem dużo.
A jaka jest twoja ulubiona polska książka?
Stanisław Lem Solaris.
Jeśli mógłbyś przenieść jedną rzecz z Polski do Azerbejdżanu, co by to było?
Demokracja i polska mentalność.
Co
And żabka hot dogs. They're not actually that special. They're just normal hot dogs, but they're just cheap and easy to get. I'm joking, trolling you all. They are the most popular food in Poland.
podoba ci się w polskiej mentalności?
Bardzo łatwo dogadywać się z ludźmi i jak coś, to ludzie mówią wprost. Jeżeli ktoś cię nie lubi, ty zrozumiesz, że ktoś cię nie lubi. To jest bardzo łatwe i wygodne. Ktoś uważa, że to jest chamsko, a według mnie to jest świetnie.
Tak jakby nie tracimy czasu na jakieś zbędne dyskusje, tak? Nie
Tak,
udajemy.
Ludzie są otwarci. Nieraz tak jechałem pociągiem i mogłem zaprzyjaźnić się z kimś, jakimś nieznajomymi ludźmi, bo piliśmy przez całą drogę. To świetnie przecież.
Pierwsza rzecz, którą po prostu od razu zauważyliśmy, to stosunki do historii, ponieważ widzimy wiele różnych takich ciekawych, pięknych miejsc, który zadbany, który jest odrestaurowany i nam to bardzo podoba. Na przykład w tym miejscu, gdzie my mieszkali, w Nowosibirsku, bardzo mało takich miejsc i jak mi wydaje się brakuje tego stosunku z szanowaniem do takich miejsc historycznych.
Для mnie też to historia i dbanie o szczegółach, o budynkach, dbanie o wszystkich szczegółach, nawet wioskach. Polska mnie inspirowała, żeby ja znowu zaczęła malować jak w dzieciństwie i to wszystko dzięki Polsce ja stałam malarką. Po prostu zainspirowała, że mnie w Polsce design plakatu jest taki popularny i on ma taki wielki poziom. I maluję takie plakaty, obrazy i różne pocztówki. I ciekawe, że takie pocztówki kupują Polacy, który mieszka nie w Polsce, który tęskni za różnymi miejscami, za swoim domem i to bardzo przyjemne dla mnie, że ja mogę coś dać dla tych ludzi takiego ciepłego.
Ja nie wiem, jak to wytłumaczyć, po prostu ta rzecz, która mnie najbardziej podoba, to chyba jest, tak można powiedzieć, atmosfera, ten klimat, który ja po prostu czuję w Polsce.
See, that's one thing I like. Now, granted, I've only been to Poland twice when it's been summer. And it's interesting because, well, I like Poland when it's cold because it just has a really nice atmosphere. And Poland sometimes suits grey, cold, snowy. It's weird. And I know Poles are like, oh, why don't you come in a better time? Well, I come whenever I can. But also, Poland is lovely when it's hot. It's a weird one and it's hard to explain, but Poland is lovely when it's cold still. And it just has that air of I don't know. It's weird to say because I'm a foreigner and I love Poland when it's cold. It just suits it really well. And quite often Poland is cold, but it's normally the opposites, isn't it? It's normally really hot or really cold. It's hard to explain. I'm sorry, I'm ranting now. I'm not ranting, I'm rambling.
Na przykład, kiedy my wyjeżdżamy gdzieś lotem, nie wiem, jedziemy tam do Francji, do Germanii, a potem, kiedy idziemy już do Polski i po prostu, kiedy wychodzimy z lotniska w Krakowie, myślimy, że nareszcie jesteśmy w Polsce. Nie wiem, jak to wytłumaczyć, nie wiem, bezpiecznie, być może spokojnie, taka atmosfera.
Jak w domu.
Jak, no, jak w domu.
Po prostu nam Polska, Kraków od razu tak pasowało do naszego życia i to wszystko.
No.
To nie potrzebujemy szukać czegoś innego, po prostu nam to podoba. Oglądałam wasz film na kanale i mówiłeś chyba,
just found loads
że
of
twoi
YouTubers.
rodzice bali się, jak przyprowadzałeś się do Polski, jak ludzie będą reagować?
Tak, no tak, ponieważ oczywiście propaganda w Rosji w tym momencie pracuje tak bardzo mocno i oczywiście wiele ludzi myśli, że w Polsce stosunek do Rosjan może być taki bardzo negatywny. Na przykład moi rodzice oczywiście mieli taki
Strach?
no strach, można tak powiedzieć, że może być coś nie tak z wami tam w Polsce. Musi być tak ostrożny. Oczywiście ja rozmawiałam o tym z nimi, że wszystko w porządku, że wszystko normalnie. Są ludzie, którzy oglądają wiele tak telewizji i oni też myślą o tym, że w Polsce stosunek do Rosjan jest bardzo negatywny. Nigdy jeszcze nie spotkaliśmy takiego negatywnego doświadczenia. Zawsze było takie po prostu zainteresowanie. O, jesteście z Rosji? Dlaczego Polska? I tak dalej. I zawsze byli to mili ludzie, którzy po prostu mówili nam, no super, że przyjechaliście do Polski. My takie,
How interesting is that? That's such good. Hang on, let me just finish this.
super, dziękujemy.
And then we'll talk about this. There you go. How interesting is that? You got Russians that are over in Poland now, and actually, you know, although there may be this kind of bad vibe with Poland and Russia and whatnot, but actually, I think that Poles, it's not the Russian people that they have an issue with potentially. It's probably more the Russian government. Or I say government loosely. The Russian, yes, dictatorship. But that's how interesting is that? You know, there are probably some prejudices or whatnot, but actually it's not aimed at the people. And actually, if you're a nice person, then people from Poland will talk to you. They will be friendly, you know. So look, I like that. And hopefully I've added a little bit extra to this of my impressions of Poland and when I come, because I go a lot. You know, 12 times now in the however long it's quite a few times, and I've probably seen more of Poland than a lot of Poles have seen. I love it. There'll be more trips as well. Go to Charlie and Rob on YouTube and you can check out all the vlogs. We've got like 30 vlogs from Poland. It's insane. We're coming back definitely in September to Warszawa because we're going to go see Sana at the Narodowe. My cat is attacking my feet. Are you little shit? He's under the desk right now. But yes, we are coming back. Go to Charlie and Rob. Make sure you like and subscribe. And as always, I will catch you next time.